Now in our first story, following measures for enhanced contact tracing and testing, Ghana has detected an increased number of confirmed COVID-19 cases. As at 6th April 2020, 11:30 p.m., a total of 287 cases of COVID-19 with 5 deaths were recorded. The regional distribution of the cases are as follows. Greater Accra region had the most cases, 256, followed by the Ashanti region 18, Northern region 10, Upper West region 1, Eastern region 1, and Upper East region 1. A total of 172 cases were reported for the routine and enhanced surveillance activities, and those from travelers under mandatory quarantine in both Accra and Tamale are 115.
As at 6th April, that is yesterday, 23:30 hours, a total of 287 cases with 5 deaths have been recorded. Regional distribution of the cases are as follows. Greater Accra. This region has the most cases, 258, followed by Ashanti 18, Northern region 10, Upper West 1, Eastern region 1, and Upper East region 1. A total of 172 cases were reported from the routine and enhanced surveillance activities, and those from travelers under mandatory quarantine in both Accra and Tamale are 115. 115. That is Accra and Tamale. Accra is 105 and Tamale is 10. The period of mandatory quarantine for travelers who arrived on the 21st and 22nd March has ended. In all, a total of 1,030 travelers were quarantined during the period. Out of these, 79 were positive during the initial testing, whilst 951 were negative. 26 among those that were initially negative were found to have converted to be positive at the exit screening, bringing to a total of 105, which constitutes 10.2% among the travelers that were quarantined.
Now, the Health Minister, Kweku Agyeman-Manu, has also been speaking about the announced package for health workers.
We have made available 15 Ayalolo buses now in Accra, and a number again in Kumasi. This operation started yesterday. The buses that we have designated to carry health workers have been labeled health staff in front of the windscreens and on the sides. These are strictly to be utilized by health workers. They have done routes that will touch in some of the hospitals and polyclinics in Accra from various parts of Accra. So the 15 buses between Accra and Tema are operating on our major roads, but they have asked them to be going close to clinics where these workers are to facilitate their movement. They are moving during times that they start work, that will give them room to start work when they close and when the afternoon shift comes, so that when you close even in the night, there will be buses running to carry you home. We've given ample fuel, and it looks like the operation went very well yesterday. This morning there were complaints of health workers, a lot of them trying to go on a bus that would break the social distancing rules. So I'll plead with health workers who are boarding the buses that if you realize that there are a lot more people in the bus and the driver asks you to stay and wait, please listen and wait and get on the next bus that comes. The President mentioned tax relief for all health workers, and we are working on modalities to grant this tax relief to all health workers, including those even in the private sector, so that if you capture you and your employer in the private sector gives us your tax returns, they will pick your TIN numbers and will work with it such that you'll also benefit so far as you are a health worker. The other area that we have mentioned, which has caused a little bit of misunderstanding on radio, this morning I listened to one or two contributors, is the allowance or bonus that to be paid to the health workers. Please let everybody stay calm. The President is not thinking of leaving anyone behind. All of us are health workers. All of us are health workers, but not all of us will do some work that will make us take advantage of the large bonus.
Now, the Water and Sanitation Minister, Cecilia Abena-Dapaah, has also been clarifying the 3-month free water package announced by the President.
The arrears will be kept as arrears, but those who owe will enjoy water for April, May, and June. So there shouldn't be any alarm. The arrears are on hold. Tanker drivers, I had a meeting with them yesterday. They are on board with us. Government will absorb all the expenses and make sure they work and supply the water. And landlords, it wasn't asked, but I know there are landlords who also charge tenants for water. Please, with all due respect, the water should be given to all tenants for free, because the landlords will not be paying water bills for April, May, and June. So please take note. Also, I want to appeal to all of us that this is not the time to wash our cars with hoses for 1 hour for each car, and also water our gardens. Very soon, by God's omnipotence, we will have the rainy season. So please abide by these simple rules and regulations. And nobody, please, should tamper with the infrastructure of Ghana Water and Community Water and Sanitation Agency. Also, for those of us in the peri-urban and rural areas using tokens and prepaid meters, your water supply will be uninterrupted. So please take note. And I repeat again, NGOs supplying water, we have appealed to them, we are going to appeal to them in writing to make sure they also supply water.
Now, medical officials at the 37 military hospitals say they are in urgent need for personal protective equipment, saying the available ones are inadequate. The hospital has set up a quarantine center where more than 200 suspected coronavirus cases have been held, with 9 turning positive. According to head of public health at the facility, Naval Captain Edward Nyako, the facility will run out of PPE stocks they had for the fight against Ebola in the next 3 weeks. They are calling for more. He was speaking when members of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee visited the facility earlier today.
It's a major challenge, and we see that if this continues for much longer, we may not be in the capacity to handle this. So it's a challenge that we're facing, and I think that my commander will speak more about that.
If I may ask a follow-up to that question, based on your response, what kind of timeline are you setting as based on the current reserve of PPEs you have, that you can't go past unless you have a replenishing of your supply?
So actually for now, I would say because of our previous experiences in Ebola, Lassa, etc., we had a stockpile, which now, considering what we've done so far and the stocks we have, we probably can move for the next 3 weeks only. So it's a very narrow logistics timeline. And we urgently need a very big push to get us ready. So
is the result able to indicate how long one has been infected or just positive?
So frankly, that is the major challenge.
Now, the commanding officer of the 37 military hospital has expressed concern about long delays in returning COVID-19 test results, saying it leaves them anxious most of the time. Brigadier General Ni Aja Obodai says it now takes up to 4 days to get results from Noguchi, despite previous assurances the results will be ready in 6 hours. He was speaking when members of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee visited the premises earlier today.
For somebody who had his sample taken, he is on edge, anxiety and everything. For us as well, who interface with him or her, we are also on edge. So the earliest we got the result, the best, because it puts everybody at rest. If somebody has to wait for 4 days, in here, waiting for 4 days for his result, it's air conditioned all the same, but it's not comfortable enough, mental stress and everything. So we're ready to cope with the 6 hours that we're giving initially, which turn to 24 hours. But of course, there are only 2 testing centers, KCCR in Kumasi and Noguchi here. And you can imagine the samples that have been taken. So the pressure is on. So if we could improve the testing sites and get results much earlier, we'll be in better shape.
Meanwhile, a separate quarantine center the military has set up at the Elwak Sports Stadium has PPEs that will last for only up to 1 week. They called for more.
You know, we can have separated ones, just the mask, just the coverall or so. But for those who are engaging with the patients, they need to be fully prepared from head to toe. So the PPEs are the ones that are in short supply. If we're not careful, we run out of it, we put everybody's life in danger. Because when they leave the hospital, they're going back to their families.
Right.
So that, we shouldn't be able to compromise on that at all. So our main request will go for PPEs, full cover PPEs, sir.
Now, let me do a follow-up question to my chairman. The PPE, especially the nose mask.
Back to Accra, and over 800 wooden structures which serve as residencies for squatters at Old Fadama here in Accra have been razed by fire. The fire, which eyewitnesses say started around 2 a.m., destroyed properties running into hundreds of Ghana cedis. The fire also rendered hundreds homeless. Some of the affected persons have accused the fire service of arriving at the scene with empty tenders. Kwesi Parker Wilson has more. Right, so Kwesi is currently with us on the line. Good afternoon, Kwesi. What more do we know? Right, Kwesi, so if you can hear me, what more do we know about this fire?
Right, so then I can report to you this afternoon that over 1,000 people have been rendered homeless here at Old Fadama, and we are talking about headquarters and those are the fitting shops, as we say. If I were I'm standing, I am right in front of the fitting shop, and then I can confirm to you that the fitting shop has been gutted by fire and has burnt down completely. Nothing to salvage. The people I spoke to earlier tell me that the fire started around 2 a.m. and of course they never had the opportunity to salvage their work. Some had their money in their room, and because most of the structures here are wooden, the fire was quick to spread to the other part of Fadama, and so now they are even struggling to get water or even food or to eat. So it's kind of a worrying situation for them. That is very devastating for them at the moment. And so they are appealing to government, of course, not more, to come to their aid. But then there's one accusation leveled against personnel from the Ghana National Fire Service, who are still on the ground trying their best to douse the flames. From where I stand, I see the pocket of fire all across where I am. Over 800 homes, and you see pockets of fire all over the place. Now, the accusation is that when the fire started, and they called them around 2 a.m. When officers came, they arrived with empty fire tenders, which they say was the major cause of the spread of the fire. I managed to speak to some of the officers who are on the ground, but then they tell me that because they do not have the capacity to speak on this matter, we would have to contact their PRO to get all the needed information. So for now, we cannot independently verify the accusation leveled against National Fire Service. But of course, we will try as much as possible to get a reaction from the PRO on this particular matter. Also, there are heavy police presence here, trying to ward off individuals who might take advantage of the situation and take things that do not belong to them. So if you come to Old Fadama, it's quite a devastating situation for residents of those who are living here.
Now, I know you said that the fire service officials are there. Do they know as of now what started this fire?
I didn't hear that.
Do the officials know what started the fire, Parker?
Not yet. In fact, those at Old Fadama themselves know what triggered the fire. Some of them are just speculating that they heard there was a confusion between a couple, a husband and a wife, and that led to the fire outbreak. But of course, we as journalists cannot independently verify that. We are yet to speak to a National Fire Service from them. What the preliminary investigation reveals that since those on the thousands of fire have failed to speak to me unless you get to the PRO for some answers on this matter.
Have any casualties been recorded? Parker, have we recorded any casualties?
The line is breaking.
I wanted to know if any casualties have been recorded, Parker. Unfortunately, it seems we are having a difficulty establishing a good connection there, but that's it from our colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson, who is currently at Old Fadama. Coming up in business, LPG marketers warn consumption will decline if taxes on their products are not removed. That's coming up here on Join Us Today. Stay with us.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association has renewed calls for government to remove taxes on the LPG price build-up in order to achieve government's quest of increasing penetration of the commodity in the country. Gabi Kumi says usage of the commodity has stagnated over the years and cautioned the downstream regulator that LPG consumption will start declining if the numerous taxes are removed.
From 2016 to present, LPG consumption has been relatively stagnant. And our projection is that if we don't do anything drastic about the price of LPG, going forward, LPG consumption in Ghana will start declining, which is going to have dire consequences for our environment and for our nation. We are asking government already for the past 2 years. We have been banging on the doors of government to consider removing all taxes from LPG so that we make the product tax-free, so the ordinary Ghanaian could afford. LPG is a product with an elastic demand. What that simply means is that the only way you can grow, you can increase consumption, is to bring down prices so that you can attract a lot of people into the consumption net. So government objective of trying to increase penetration from the current 25% to 50% by the year 2030 could be achieved. But with this kind of attitude, with introduction, even if there was no new margin on it, the 20% taxes on LPG is going to make the achievement of government objective very, very difficult. That is why we have been calling that that 20% should be removed.
The Dr. Mensah side of the Kumasi Central Market was recently closed due to insanitary conditions, and traders are not observing the social distancing and hand-washing directive by health authorities. In the wake of this, the Techiman Municipal Assembly has revealed it requires about 600 pieces of sanitary items to properly adhere to government's directives. Ghana Nuts Company Limited has therefore donated over 300 pieces of sanitary items at the cost of 20,000 Ghana cedis to support the market. General Manager Kojobin Abuaji explains this gesture is part of government or is part of efforts to support government win the fight against the coronavirus.
Buckets, 50 pieces of washing soaps,
hand sanitizers, 50 pieces of tissue papers, 50 buckets, as well as 50 dustbins. Altogether, more than 300 pieces of sanitary items were presented to the Techima Municipal Assembly for onward distribution to the various markets in the metropolis. The agro-processing outfit, Ghana Nuts Company Limited, made the donation as part of its corporate social responsibility in these difficult times where most employees are unable to go to work. Kwejo Biabuaje is the general manager for the company.
What we have brought to Techiman South, this we put in about 20,000 Ghana cedis. We have some of the goods that are also still in production because we still have to donate to other assemblies like the Techiman North Assembly. There are some selected institutions that we would also be going to donate to. Some of the goods that we have to import have been imported. We are also partnering with some of the media outlets to help in any way that we can in sensitization of people, because we have a lot of people who come from Techiman and its enclave who are working with us, and so anything that we can do to help alleviate this is in our best interest as a business. And so we are doing a lot as part of our corporate social responsibility to help all of this.
Municipal Chief Executive for the Techima Municipal Assembly, John Kofi Donyina, explained that the donation is timely. He, however, urged other companies that are located within the Techiman enclave to emulate the gesture of Ghana Nuts Company Limited.
In terms of receiving items, so far as COVID-19 fight is concerned, this is the largest delivery that we've received from the private company like Ghana Nuts. So it is going to help us a lot because the vast nature of Techima, even the market alone, needs more than 600 Veronica buckets. So this thing is going to augment what the assembly has already started.
Municipal Health Director Florence Idrissa explained that because the wealth of a nation translates into the capacity of its wealth, businesses must continue to focus on the well-being of their employees and the community where they operate.
This is their social responsibility indeed, and it is a good social responsibility. The health of the nation or the community is their wealth. And as business entity, they are looking at the health of the community, and that is what will also bring something into their business, that it will flourish. And we thank them so well.
Ghana Nuts Company Limited are producers of soybean oil and poultry feed made from soya beans. Prince Apia reporting.
And there's more goodwill from the business community amid the coronavirus pandemic. We'll tell you about it at 1 o'clock when we bring you the marketplace. Up next, though, sports.